spoiler and savagery warning ahead for Endgame, FF15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 content because, as much as I dearly love and rate both these titles, they're some of my favourite feels in recent feeling. Both of these games had ladies who suffered remarkably similar fates, and you're just about to see how much so.
Final Fantasy Peasant. He likes Final Fantasy.
And now pretends KH3 to piggyback off the hype.
And is a peasant. Kairi, Freya, MacGuffin Forget. It's a shite name I've come up with, but I will now use to categorise a new trope of video game whamming. Specifically ones who had such incredible potential to be the best thing since the gift that released to this world in 1997. Funnily enough, no, I'm not talking about FF7, I'm talking about tabbed browsing, baby. Yet they were ultimately either forgotten, promises weren't fulfilled, or they were just straight up MacGuffined. Now, a MacGuffin meaning an object or device in a film or book which serves merely as the trigger for the plot. And I don't use that word lightly. But the potential Kairi and Luna had, that going into both of Square Enix's biggest and arguably most anticipated games of recent time, felt honestly nigh on impossible for Square to get wrong. It felt that both these ladies were such surefire victories for their games that when they ultimately fell short by the wayside, I honestly couldn't have felt more frustrated in seeing it happen twice. So first I'm going to cover the similarities, and then I'll get a little bit more specific with each. So two lead female characters who frankly only get their lead status by their connection to the MC, who were closest attached during childhood years, and we are subtly teased a promise that one day this will blossom into something a bit more than just a childhood friendship. Then game alternative controversial media starts, and we spend the bulk of it never really seeing MC and dank female lead together, because MC would rather dilly-dally hanging out with his bros and marinating in bro love, whereas female spends her time slow farming those badass points with way hotter available man candy, who half the JRPG fans are now instantly going to flip ship to, because that's just what JRPG fans do. Game then progresses on, and high expectations of fairly elusive training or plot involvement, which are bubbling quietly beneath the surface of main female lead. In the case of Kairi, it's her going from Princess of Light, who constantly, gets herself kidnapped.
Let go of me! Let go!
And is left behind because she can't fight, to now being a fully fledged guardian of light of her own, who is trained in a temporal time rift so she can catch up with all the others and their crazy power levels. And then Luna also, most of it is happening off screen. Now she's growing as an oracle and she's appearing at these various sites to commune with the astrals. She also has the Ring of the Lucii, and basically this sense of these women playing significant roles behind the scenes, active roles, is slowly built up. It's built up and built up, who are strong enough in literally both cases to protect the MC and, again, not just be a MacGuffin on cliche par with 1981's friggin' Princess fucking Peach. Now I want to clear up, I don't really think Kairi and Luna fell into that lower bracket. Luna got Noctis the ring. She unlocked his armature, she did commune with gods, and she laid huge groundwork that was truly invaluable to the story and to Noctis winning. And so did Kairi. She reversed time. She gave a weakened, resolved Sora the strength he needed, and generally acted as a heart pillar he could tether himself to in times of dire need. Just like she has almost every KH game to date. And that's the remarkable problem that blows my mind with both these characters, is that despite both Kairi and Luna actually having significant roles, they do, which I'm sure some over-eager fan is furiously beginning to type in the comment section as we speak. But the truth is, and I'd be the last one to want to admit it, is that somehow those contributions, though big when you actually put them under a microscope, they come across as just small and disappointing, less than they actually are. And I've been wondering, why is that? Why is it that two female leads who are so built up in their respective games and what they're going to accomplish ultimately fall flat and become one of the main points of criticism for the game? Well, personally, I think it's down to rushed story arcs. getting straight into it, and that the proper attention is not being given to what in both games our excitement was built upon. You know, I can't speak for everyone, but for a lot of people, with Kairi say, we needed to see the Keyblade wielding Guardian of Light. I mean, be real, it's completely hyped upon that she's going to play a different role to just the strength of bond that she had with Sora. It's going to be more than that. And though she did, when we actually look at it, participates in fights, she did stand in the Keyblade War. You know, she took on Xion, she bopped her Heartless on the noggin, I think. But that was it. And shit like this, or memes like this, which I actually love, I actually quite love that one, totally undermined the premise that had been built upon of what was going to make Kairi significant in this. And you know, similarly with Luna, we needed to see a couple long separated by war and divided by family. We needed to see them reunite, as well as to see a badass significant Oracle. And while again we put under the microscope, sure she did, she went up against Leviathan and displayed a moment of incredible power, but it fell flat. And as for reunion, I mean, Jesus shiting, do we count this as a reunion? Were we supposed to? My God, I mean, I know I've harped on about this, guys, but I'm never gonna forgive Square for it, because again, they went 98% of the way, and then the 2% that mattered, they didn't. They went all the way with both Luna and Kairi. They put all the foundation in place, got all the right chess pieces in place. Wow, that's so much more relevant now. But then when it came to it, and this is what is so frustrating, when they were just one scene away, and it really was just one scene from validating both or either of these ladies, they completely skip it. And no, with Kairi, it would just simply been her fighting skills. No, where she would have actually then met Sora as an equal, where she just wasn't something to be protected, or he needed to protect. And with Luna, it was a date scene. A date scene between her and Noctis, a personal interaction, a moment. That was all that was needed. That would have been suffice to show the woman beneath the Oracle, and to actually show us what this couple is like. You know, the well-groomed, elegant, refined, sophisticated lady of Luna, with the naturally messy, clumsy, quirky, anime manga loving, vegetable slaying semi-nerd that Noctis is. We needed to see it in just one beautifully unrushed scene or arc that played out, which ultimately would have increased the impact of what you then did to them both next. And what I mean by next is, of course, selling them down the river as villain bait, as cheap story dramas that were just there to heighten the disdain of the main villain, who in both cases admit they were just mostly doing it to motivate the MC. It was, I mean, when I came away and I actually reviewed it, the similarities on how Luna got the Kairi treatment, or Kairi got the Luna treatment, just so clear. You know, Kairi gets grabbed again like a pathetic, helpless lamb, you know, that she has been in every game, squealing and squawking, and she doesn't have anything to summon to her own defense, even though she's now supposed to be a Keyblade wielder, which maybe if you stop sticking her in the bloody back, Sora, it would happen less. And then with Luna getting stabbed while also not putting up an ounce of fight or magic that we had seen previously. We, the audience, are supposed to deeply care about this and strive on with hearts of weed-filled rage before ultimately saving the day, which concludes out with a rather ambiguous shot of said couple, either both dead or one, or according to this book, maybe neither, and also this trailer, maybe neither. Who the fuck knows? But we are supposed to care. And I mean, yes, of course, I know I fell for it hook, line, and sinker, but shut up, that's not the point here. I actually did love the games. But the point I'm making, and the why I'm doing this video, is that even for me, and certainly for many others that I've spoken to, and I understand, it is so painfully clear how the writing could have just been better, and it boggles my mind how a company that just previously went from, he's the MC, fake out, this hard wench really is, I'm such a friggin' male badass, it's borderline Mary Sue. Hey, I'm Mary Sue's sister, Matilda Sue, and I've never wielded a weapon in my life. Oh, nice one, Matilda. Now hold my gin and fucking tonic for 40 hours. How Square go from one extreme of female protagonists to then almost completely underselling them in their last two biggest titles boggles my mind. And I'm not saying, you know, they needed to be Lightning-esque to be great, because there were definitely certain goals and aims and expectations that weren't supposed to be badass female soldiers, but for how important these women were for their respective games and the expectations of deliverance that you yourself placed on them, Square. The thing, these expectations were created by you and you did not deliver on those expectations. You sold them short. And when I say Square, of course I'm wondering, do I mean Square Enix, the company? Because after all, there is one thing in common with both these lead women and both these games, and it is Nomura. Oh, no you didn't, Pez. Now I'm not looking to open a can of worms, but it is true, is it not, that Nomura built the expectation for both these women's. For Kairi, it was, over many games that this was built up, and it was all entirely his writing. And going into this game, he very much teased that Kairi was going to step out of the box and the importance and the role that she had pretty much played over and over again in the previous games. And then we go over to Luna, and for her, I know Nomura didn't finish 15, but he certainly created the shadow that was Stella. A thing that created Luna, that moved into her, and the shadow of Stella lingered. This badass rapier wielding chick who was gonna go head to head with the Dark Prince himself. All the Versus fans who said that Tabitha ruined Luna, all the ones who said that Luna was nothing on what Stella was gonna be, the vision that Luna needed to be a badass, being integral to the plot, that the whole thing was gonna be this star-crossed lovers, Romeo and Juliet style tragedy. That all came from Nomura. I'd say Tabitha just tried to continue it, but now I have to question, especially when it later surfaced in a rumor that Stella was actually going to die very early on and that she was just going to be a ghost that spoke to Noctis. Again, it's just a rumor. But if that rumor is true, and what became of Luna and what became of Kairi, these are all essentially MacGuffinage. Is it Nomura who is MacGuffining then? Is that MacGuffining? Is that right? Creating MacGuffage. Yeah, that sounds right. Is it Nomura creating it? Has a different taste of how to pull off main female leads and love interests? Maybe not. Maybe that's being unfair. But I'm going to say I do hate gamers who lazily depend on having every detail placed in their laps by the director. Now, you guys have seen this before. It's why I love KH3. It's why I love so many elements of 15. I enjoy it, and I see the importance of taking an active storytelling and an imagination role and fitting yourself into the immersion of the story, which is something I always try to do going into every game. But despite hating gamers who refuse to engage and fill in some of the imagination gaps, and no, I also get that Kingdom Hearts 3 had such a crazy large cast to balance, but the main love interest of both MCs, now that is just too deadly a development to skim over. Even though you might have made it about the other characters in KH3 or about the bros in FF15, these two women were always going to have dire consequences if you skimmed over their development, and I'm afraid to say they did. And I'm confident in saying that it has definitely had repercussions for your games, and that this has been noticed by fans. And I've got to say, it's sad. Because again, you already put in so much of the groundwork with Luna, with the movie, with Kairi in her previous games. You were 98% of the way there and then failed on the final 2%. And it's just sad from a company that created a game as beautiful as, let's say, 10, whose pillar of strength was on the development of the couple it portrayed. This would be akin to if you took Tidus and Yuna but removed everything in the Macalania scene, lake scene and beyond, as if that never happened. And then you killed off Yuna simply to inspire Tidus to take down the final Aeon before kind of bringing him back, but kind of not. I mean, when you say it like that, you can see how it just so clearly wouldn't have worked, and it would have been a mess, because this couple, Yuna and Tidus, they were strong because you validated them, first as individuals, then as something more personal and bonded, then as a romantic couple, and then finally as the combined strength that they had as a unit. And this is such a pivotal thing that I think both stories missed, which was to overturn a tragic fate, or at least certainly a part of it. It's no good trying to forcibly insist that they are tough. That Kairi will be the one to protect Sora this time, even with Luna, that Luna would stand before gods to protect Noctis. Both of it falls flat because neither couple stands strong together. Or worse, or what is way worse, is when you actually turn their affection into weakness. And this Sora jumping in front of Kairi, not trusting her new capabilities or capacities to hold her own, that was such an undermining, frustrating moment. And I can point them out with FFXV as well, but you guys get it. True strength of the couple, or at least as a combined unit, they are stronger. Not just strong for the sake of being strong to Mary Sue degrees. You know, this is part of what's happening with the Captain Marvel fallout that's happening right now. Some of the forcing of strong female tropes that it is pushing through. I think there was even a Sherwood thing coming out on YouTube lately that's been getting really hit. You know, a female Robin Hood who is better at technology and better than most men at most everything and don't need no man. That force strength that doesn't seem realistic or at all represents the strong qualities of what a female character can bring in terms of her intelligence, her compassion, her wiles, her cunning, her determination, or shit because it's a fantasy world, her magic. Hell, if she wants to be a dank OP sword wielder, then go for it. But how it is that movie, TV and video game plots are somehow consistently one after the other missing the point of female leads. There we go. I thought I would express and try to put context to what I think everyone is feeling, and I really want to know in the comments section below what you think. If you disagree, if you agree, to what degrees do you think Kairi and Luna were given the similar treatment? No, do you think Kairi Freya, MacGuffin Forget, is now an official trope created by Square and potentially Nomura that I really hope they break, or at least learn from? And by learn, I don't mean try to correct in a DLC and or novella book of some sort. But I'm done. I'm out. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Until the next video. Goodbye!